Why should a picture of Elon Musk sitting in the Palace of Versailles in France make you smirk? Because of foreshadowing. Because that palace, Versailles, is the living evidence that money is not power, power is power. And power will always trump money. To explain this to you, I'm going to have to take you back to August 17th, 1661. The day in which the richest, but only the second most powerful man in France lost his livelihood, his power, and his freedom because of a party. The man was Nicolas Fouquet, the superintendent of finance of King Louis XIV. Remember him, the absolute monarch of France, the man who built Versailles, building that inspired Marjorie Merriweather Post, the American heiress, to build Mar-a-Lago, the property that was then acquired by Donald Trump. A man who doesn't just share Louis XIV's taste for gaudy decorations, but also shares his ambition of being an absolute monarch who is the son of a court that he controls entirely. Fouquet was in a complicated situation. In March, in the year in which the party was held, the regent for the king who hired him died. So he thought that impressing the king with a massive party would get him on side. So he decided to do it in his country estate, a palace called Versailles, a place that he was particularly proud of, because it took him 3 years to build, hiring the best of everyone, from gardeners to architects to painters. And the party itself was insane. Commissioned a play by Molière, nights of fireworks, the finest food, the finest drinks, for 600 people. He offered jewelry to his guests as presents. But was the king impressed? No, he wasn't. All the king saw was that this man, who worked as a superintendent of his finances, lived better than he did. The next minister of finance took this opportunity to influence the king into throwing this guy in jail. The king was so enamored of Versailles that he built the Palace of Versailles. Well, of course, he's in the assets of the Fouquet family. And how does this connect to Elon Musk? Well, like Fouquet, his power derives from Donald Trump. And Musk, just like all other billionaires, gave Donald Trump a leash, albeit being a golden one, by which Trump will be able to drag him in whatever direction he wants. Doge is a poison chalice, because it allows Elon Musk to take the brunt of the dislike of every single misstep that he makes, but any profit that he makes from it, i.e. government contracts, will be dependent on the will of Trump. Taking into account that Tesla shares continue to collapse, that protests against Tesla are gathering apace around the world, that the Republican establishment is starting to get scared of having to defend to their constituencies the impact of cuts that they do not control, and that his main internal political adversary, Peter Thiel, is vying to impose his own political agenda in a much less exposed way in a snake pit that is the MAGA court, the closest thing that we now have to the French court in the 18th century. I'd be concerned if I was him, because Donald Trump has already started pulling on the golden leash.